It's Marvel time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the Mafex X-Men Psylocke figure. This is the re-release, by the way. Did not get my hands on the first one, so I'm really happy that Mafex decided to do another run with this. This is the design, this is the version of Psylocke based on what a lot of people are calling the golden age of X-Men, the 90s, where Jim Lee busted out one banger comic after banger comic. And we also obviously had the cartoon show. And here actually we have, I love this artwork. It's just a small picture, but it really shows how it looked back then. And let's see how well this figure captures this. Here comes the fan service. Also, she stands at about 15 centimeters to the top of her head, which means we would be going up to very shy of 6 inches, 5.9. Size comparisons. Here's Jolter, the SH Figure Arts Son Goku, NECA Michelangelo, Mafex Wolverine, the SH Figure Arts Iron Man, and Darkseid. Overall, look in detail. Oh, I love Psylocke. We do have a lot more of an Asian look on her face, which is accurate to the 90s comic in particular. If you're picking up another comic and you're like, oh, she doesn't look like that, this is supposed to be based on the 90s. As I said at the beginning, but I just wanted to repeat that. Also, the eyes are printed on there. It's a little bit pixelated, but something that you're not really gonna see unless you're really going in close. For the hair sculpt, it's sleek in the back and also has some black line work on there. Very thick line work, and I think it's cool because it's supposed to be a comic book character and I don't mind it. However, they didn't do anything else on the figure. I don't know, maybe they planned like a repaint where it looks more like it was on the box, but it's not a here nor there. I don't hate it. It just kind of doesn't make sense if you don't really put the rest of the figure for the same treatment. But we do have some shading in the chest area, and I think also a little bit on her abs. And yeah, she's pretty ripped. She's fit and thick. And we have some more on the hip part, the crotch piece. And yeah, I mean, the boba and overall the look, the hourglass shape of the character. I mean, it's a comic book from the 90s. It's for us horny boys, and it did work, for me at least. But the one thing I don't really like so much is how they made the small ring around the finger, because it looks like it doesn't go around the finger, if you know what I mean. Obviously, it's kind of hard to get in there and paint that all the way, but it just looks kind of weird. It just looks like it stops, but not a small detail, but that's what I'm here for, to tell you about those things. Just like the X on her belt, it's not cleanly painted. It looks a little bit rough, but I mean, it's black. That's something that's fairly easy to do, to fill in yourself, but we shouldn't have to do that. But anyway, back to the belt. Has like the pink belt which wraps around. It's not connected anywhere, so it's a little bit floppy, but I guess if you're pulling it down on her hips, maybe you can get a bit of a grip on it. Yeah, I guess if it doesn't work out, heat it up and try to pull it down a little bit and let it cool down again if you want to keep it in place. But still, I mean, I think it's good that you can move it around so it doesn't get in the way. And yeah, you have the big hips and the big thighs. Mwah, good stuff. Also, there's the butt. We didn't have a good look at the butt, but there we go. There it is. This is the butt. It also looks fairly nice if you move it around. Obviously in some positions it's not gonna fare well, but I mean, it's not the worst butt I've seen. Yes, butt reviewer. That's what I am. That's my official title. And we go down to the legs, where we had some small slips with the paint, like very minuscule, but again, I'm here to show you those things. But overall, I mean, very little for me to complain as far as the paint goes. And obviously everything is metallic, it's very glossy, and you could make the point, well, it's clothing. Why would clothing be metallic and glossy? To that I say, it's a comic book character. Do you really want to get in that? No. It makes sense to me that it looks flashy and it looks nice, and they delivered on that part. For the articulation, it's incredibly standard, so much it almost hurts. Now, we don't get that much out of the hat. A little bit of wiggle motion, doesn't really go to the back because of the hair, but does tilt side to side. And you would get it all the way around, but even with that, the hair kind of stops at the shoulders, which is fine. And then you have like neck articulation, but it's so stiff it doesn't really have much room to breathe. So bring that to the side, bring that forward. And yeah, as you can tell, it only has a little bit of wiggle motion. For the shoulders, you have a big ball hinge in the shoulder and another smaller ball in the chest, kind of like the Fing Mouse, but this one is beneath the shoulder, so you don't really get it up that much. Do kind of shift it up and down and can bring it back and forth for some good posing. And you can also obviously rotate it on this entire piece, but you also have a bicep swivel and a double hinged elbow goes up all the way. And the hand is on a ball hinge. This is super standard. But by the way, this pack sucks. It barely holds on to the hand, and I don't know why a Mafex hasn't figured that out yet. Like other companies, I have trouble getting the hands on and off, but this one, yeah, it barely holds on. Then for the chest area, I can bring that back and forth. Also does tilt side to side. And you can only swivel it so far because of the big boba getting in the way. The hip part is super nimble, as you can tell. Bring that forward to the back and does also tilt side to side. Does leave a gap over there, but I guess you could cover it up with the belt, so that's where that comes into play as a good piece. Now for the legs, that moves up quite nicely. Have some good range on that. Moves out, but it looks so ugly. Moves to the back, same thing over there. I wish they would have molded this entire piece, but I mean, it's super standard. It's just like a ball joint in there. This is so yeah, also barely swivels around because there's not any room for it. And there's something I overlooked. It doesn't help with the entire cleanliness of the leg, but you do have a hinge on the ball, so you can bring that down, but still, it doesn't matter even if you move it around and pull it up. I guess it looks a little bit better like that, but you still have some weird gaps regardless. We do have the knee joint, which doesn't really cover up all the way. Well, there we go, if I do it correctly. But we do have this kneecap again. And I'm honestly at the point where I'm wondering, do you want to do a kneecap or should they not do a kneecap? Because as soon as you bend it, you just have this ugly lump on the front. I don't know, that's up for you to decide which one you would prefer. Then for the foot, it's on a ball hinge, super standard stuff. Can bring that side to side. And can you also rotate the ball in there? I haven't even tried that. Yeah, you can swivel the ball on the upper half. So we do have that. And finally, a toe hinge. For your accessories, they actually deliver a bunch of cool stuff, and I'm just going to go over the base real quick. So you have this arm with hinges on there. This is like for standard for base. You have this cradle for the crotch piece, which you can combine with this kind of pincer. How you do that is you just remove that and you put it on there, and there you go. You can combine that if you want to, or if you don't want to, you can also have this simple pole, and on top of that, which you can all take apart, you have this other a little bigger kind of pincer, which this one is screwed in because I can't really open it up, but yeah, there you have the screw. Just get a screwdriver and unscrew it. Then we have the base of everything, which is just the base. I think it's a little too big for my taste. I hate kind of these things that take up too much space. We have a different belt, which also has some sheaths for her swords, which the one thing I wonder about this, why didn't you make the floppy part over here removable, so you can switch it out with the regular one if you don't want it to kind of like flowing like that. But that's just an idea. And then we have this face sculpt where she's angry, and once again the hair is flowing to the side, so that's all for more action poses, which I appreciate. Then we do have two katanas, unsheathed katanas. One of mine is completely bent, unfortunately, but I guess I just try to heat it up and get it back into shape. They look very simple. And then we have the sheathed katanas, which you cannot take out. You can take the handle out if you want to do some poses, but there's no way to put the swords into the sheaths. Same goes for these ones, by the way. If you want to have a pose where she kind of pulls out the katana, can't do it. Then we have energy effects, and the best part about this one is that the hands are already inside of there. And that is something I really appreciate, because I hate it when you have like fumbly bumbly stuff where it just keeps falling off. Also, these energy effects look really cool. You have like the her pink Psy powers with a little bit of white in the front. Overall, very cool molds. Same for her swords. She doesn't have like a butterfly effect to put on her face. That's really the one that's missing, but still, what we're getting looks pretty good, and I like it. Once again, the hands are obviously in there. Looks good. And for whatever reason, you have like these, I think those like the Psy reflector, if I remember correctly. Those peg on the hands. Why they made those like that and not connected the hands immediately to it like the rest of it, I don't really get. Because you get these hands and, well, you can't really use it because there's the pegs on it. If you would have made the pegs on here and maybe like a small hole, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, okay? Fist hands and completely open hands. And finally, you have, obviously, the holding hands for your swords. Final thoughts! And, I can't help it. I really like this figure. Now, overall look in detail for it is like what really brings it home for me. I think it looks awesome. I love the metallic on it. It's really vibrant and gives me that 90s comic book feel in my stomach. Makes me feel all frizzy, but anyway, no, it looks great. Articulation is fine, you know, it kind of lacks, Mafex still kind of, I feel, lacks behind a little bit behind like figure arts and whatnot. Also, stability, it could be a little bit more sturdy. She does hold the poses, but especially like the hip part is a little bit too noodly, a little bit too soft, a little bit too wobbly. And the accessories, I mean, actually I'm impressed about the accessories. When I bought Mafex figures back, like, you know, I don't do often, but when I do, they don't really have a lot of accessories. This one comes with a lot of cool stuff, so I'm very happy about that. Oh, by the way, you can take off the handles of the sheathed versions and put it on there, so at least you have that. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have many complaints about this figure. I like it, I love it, and I will recommend it even though it comes in at a fairly high price point, but I think what you're getting this time around is really worth it, and will make for a great display. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like, and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Psylocke wants.